Five, four,
Well, hey everybody! Welcome to Kush and Kai. I'm Kai.
I'm Kush. What's good, y'all? Ahoy. Ahoy,
Ahoy,
y'all.
matey! Avast ye! A meaty pirate movie we have here for you. What do we see, Kush?
We saw 1995's Cutthroat Island.
I am coming to you fresh. I just walked out of my proverbial screening, and it's all so vivid in my mind.
Okay, that's good.
All of the pirate related things. Can I just say right up at the top,
Please.
not a summation, but this movie is 2 hours long and it's an hour too long.
There is a lot of fat on this movie that does not need to be there.
It's a shame. It's a bummer before they made this movie before the invention of editing. I mean, that's it. It's claimed it as one of its victims. I mean, it could really have helped if they had gotten to that point and not to use every single piece of footage they shot of walking various places, pointing at maps, and walking to other places. Oh, and swinging to places.
Don't forget costume changes, and we must sneak in to avoid a Pirate X. At one point in time, Geena Davis, Miss Geena Davis, if you're nasty, she has to dress like a lady to buy a slave, and then she has to dress like a whore to talk to her uncle.
Okay, and I was like, wait, did she change costume? She doesn't look that
She doesn't look that different. No. The hair's a little tousled up more in her whore persona.
I thought it was less. It looked less because she had just come from like swimming out of the thing. So yeah, I was confused at that point. I thought they were going to use.
She's a redhead in the Caribbean, man. So she's got a lot of frizz to deal with. Okay, this is.
I thought they were going to use the prostitute that looked like her as a decoy because I thought that would be something.
That would have been different.
Yeah, that would have been a choice. This was just. Oh man. Okay, so this movie, and I think I know one of the things that irked me a little was that they do lots of pirate things in very piratey settings, but it's devoid of like movie things. You know what I mean? Like there's just a couple of plot divergences, and then the rest of it is going point A to point B. Example, a movie that we've done on this podcast, The Man Who Killed Hitty and Then Killed Bigfoot. Remember in that one, it was just sort of like he did both of those things, but we just see him walking for a long time to get to Hitler, and then he kills Hitler, and then we just move on. Like if you had baked some kind of emotional stuff into that story, you could have gotten a little more out of why he's doing it or some of the emotional toll. Instead, he just walks there and does that. In this movie, they have to solve a series of what I would rate as easy escape room clues to solve the map puzzle. And then they climb the aggro crag and the treasure.
Repetition is a big problem in this thing, as well as we're trying to do something here, but also let's still squeeze in these tropes as well. This movie is not afraid of show and then tell again what just happened.
Yeah.
We meet Geena Davis. She is just putting on her clothes. It is actually the most expensive navel shot in the history because the whole point is just to show off her navel, which, by the way, fantastic navel. Thank you, Geena Davis.
Navel. Good cleave, fantastic navel.
The whole thing is set up that she's a sexually flexible woman. She's very comfortable with everything, but the lieutenant of the army was playing her, but she was also playing him. So it's like a double gotcha moment.
But to what end exactly, Kush?
Oh, it is foiled by she took his ammunition from his gun. By the way, this is the 16th century, so ammunition literally is just two ball bearings in a gun that requires a lot of. It only gets one shot off, Kai, and it's lucky if it makes it 7 feet.
Yeah, I think we got to be at least in the 18th or 19th century here, but at the same time, it's just. I didn't understand, like the opening, that scene was like, oh, we're getting introduced to her and there's supposed to be some intrigue, but what does she get from knowing that he knew? She
nothing.
Nothing. It felt like nothing.
Meanwhile, two of her crewmates are calling out for her in the port of wherever they are, like literally in the
near
courtyard.
Jamaica-ish.
but they're in someone's courtyard and they're just going more, like they're waking
Yeah.
everybody up at 4 a.m. on horseback.
Hey, keep it down. We're trying to. This is a sneak one.
And the reason they're waking her up is that her father is minutes away from being executed, or at least
that's right.
It feels like it's minutes away. But guess what? It probably took him about a half hour to gallop there by horse. Then she jumps off her horse, tackles a dude who's just rigging. I don't know if he's part of that pirate boat or if he was just a regular fisherman.
Yeah, she murks a guy and steals his boat. But hold on, you said 30 minutes of riding on the beach. Are you sure it was only that short? Because it's just sunset shots and horses and water, and I'm looking at my watch. The opening credits have stopped. It's like, could you just get to the thing?
Mm-hmm.
And this is when we're introduced to one of the most punishing soundtracks I've ever heard.
Oh, you don't like the soundtrack? Oh.
No, I love the soundtrack because they stole it from a movie with more drama.
It felt familiar. It felt very familiar.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it was like, oh, there's some Zemeckis joint, or there's some little John Williams thrown in there at points, but the score kicks up, and the reason it was punishing was that it's underscoring things in such a dramatic fashion sometimes that do not. You're just watching Geena Davis like stand up and then smile, and it's like
she is just rowing. Okay,
yeah,
she's rowing for her father's life, but like you can't make this any more exciting. Like I know this is a visual thing I'm doing right now. I'm just pushing my arms back.
He's rowing, he's rowing, and then hold on, he's rowing, and then I'll underscore bum 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 bum.
My rhythm still hasn't changed. This is like you're doing a great job there, by the way, Kyle.
It's like 6 minutes of just that, and you're like, could you get to something? But they don't really.
Her father, by the way, he's given the option of, hey, come on in. Let's be. His own brother, by the way, is getting ready to murder him. Pirate Dad, and Pirate Dad's just like, no, fuck you. Like the map's up here, pointing to my skull, and you can't
very
have it,
literal.
So I'm gonna die with it.
The literalist hint ever.
And
so hold on, and we get introduced to Frank Langella, the brother.
God bless Frank Langella. He is the best thing about this movie, and I wanted more of him.
He's absolutely the best thing about this movie. And then I'm really sad that I actually thought he was Christopher Lee for most of it. And I was like, oh no, different old white guy that wants to just bring it and chew the scenery. But no, Frank Langella getting real creepy, real weird.
To be fair, I will also botch Matthew Modine later when I refer to him as either Ethan Hawke or Matthew McConaughey. It's just going to happen. I'm just getting it out of the way now, folks.
Yeah, he looked like Wesley from Princess Bride.
Ooh, Carrie Elways. Yes.
Carrie Elways.
He's going to get mistaken for that too. Carrie Elways would have been better in this.
He would have been better. I think that was one of the problems, is that's why Frank Langella is dominating, because he's like drawing attention every time he's on screen. But then, Geena Davis is like trying, but this underscores another thing about the movie that was like, oh my God.
This is Geena Davis's first blockbuster in an action film. She's done comedy, she's done horror films, she's done a lot. Like, she's got a wide berth, but this is her trying to be an action star in 1995, which was very unique for women.
For sure.
It just not only the 90s, but I don't know, when did Charlize Theron become an action star?
Well, we had a Sigourney Weaver in there, but
Sigourney was always bringing that drama though. Like, she's never murking motherfuckers with her thighs. Like,
true. Well, she's fighting aliens and stuff, but Geena Davis, like a lot of the people, and the director did them wrong here, other than picking the script, which was that the accents are all over the place. And Geena went with such a choice, because you can hear her kind of like stunted kind of, I'm talking. It was really distracting.
I honestly thought Geena Davis was just doing Geena Davis. I thought everyone else was trying to maybe do something else, but
she's trying to hang on to like some kind of voice choice there, because it fluctuates a little bit. Sometimes it's more prevalent, and then other times it goes away, which the inconsistency was rough. Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. God, that black guy who was pretending to be like an Arab Moor guy, that was a choice. Then there's some random English ones in there, and then there's just none.
I didn't pick up the cast list. That was my fault. I'm sorry. He's in a bunch of stuff though. I should know his name.
I should too. Oh, the guy who plays Trotter. He looks like Paul Scheer.
He looks like a muscular Paul Scheer. Like, he's like a square jaw. If Bruce Campbell and Paul Scheer had a baby.
Yes.
It's Trotter.
Yes. Paul
By the way,
Campbell.
how does Trotter sneak in and just become like a likable character? Like he's such a nothing burger, but at the end you're just like, yeah, I don't know why he's crossing over to the other pirate team, but
that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think we enjoyed that because it was actual, like, someone made a decision in this plot other than trod towards the treasure. That we were starving for it. Yeah, Geena Davis's dad. Let's discuss the tree here because Geena Davis's dad has 1/3 of the map.
Yes, and the other two are held by his other brothers. One of them is Frank Langella.
Okay, so that was his other brother that she later goes to visit in the whorehouse.
Yes, he hasn't seen her in forever. So first he's like, "Yeah, sure, bring the horn," and then he's like, "Oh, you okay?"
I was confused because did they say you're my niece or something?
No, she just started talking, and it was a delayed recognition, but no, he hasn't seen that chick in so long. He thought it was a whore at first for a split second.
Well, yeah, because that's the deal. Because I was like, that looks exactly like her dad who just died and who got the worst haircut in the world. What the hell happened here? Oh yeah, we should underscore that he commands Geena Davis to scalp him.
Well, he says, "Shave my head."
Yeah,
he says, "Shave my head," which at first was like, "Oh, of course, the map." And then I figured she's gonna like copy the map out. No, she scalps that
down,
dude.
maybe?
No, and I'm like, that's pretty gangster, Geena Davis. Like, I like where you went there.
That's gangster, but she manages to cure that skin, which is real thick and blubbery. Like he's part like Harbor Seal or something. It's so like clean and neat inside a day in a place where there's like no modern chemicals or refrigeration. I don't know how that, you know what I mean? It's
to be fair, once she gets back to the ship, it's been a few days because she's drinking with the writer in the galley, and the black guy comes down and says, "Hey, you can't hang out here anymore. Like you got to say something to the crew." It's been half a minute, so I still don't think the scalp would be any better off or any petrified or jerky style. Like
it wouldn't be flesh toned.
It would be rotting and turning
brown
blue
and rotting. It'd be covered in maggots and shit. Like, yeah, you can jerky it out, but it's gonna fade everything. Like, oh my god. It was impressive she was able to like free him from the anchor he was tied to at the bottom of the ocean at night and then drag him to shore. But again, that's just a pirate thing that people can do. So it feels like a pirate movie. It feels just like one.
And when she drags him onto the shore and then ultimately Pirate Dad dies in her arms and like, "Shave my head." There's a boat still chasing after her, and they for some reason just never find her. She just manages to wind up back on his original boat. That's never resolved.
Yeah. There's some boat shenanigans that go on where it's like, wait a minute.
There's some pirate justice happening here where at one point, one guy's like, "Yo, I should be the captain. And if I'm the captain, I said, let's just go find a port. Let's sell the ship. Let's divvy it up and let's make a life somewhere else or whatever." And she's like, "No, hey, man, one, my dad said I got to be in charge. All right. Daddy says I'm in charge. And two, I'm going to find some motherfucking treasure."
Right.
It's like, who wants to come with me? Like, we're pirates. Let's get some pirate treasure. Don't you want to make some motherfucking money?
Actually, that's the one piece of like movie stuff that actually does connect because Mutiny Guy later, he's going to mutiny. What's he going to do? Not mutiny?
So that's another big gripe with the script. Yeah, let's get into it now. We jump all over the place tonight.
We're jumping around.
They are weathering the storm. They've figured out roughly where the treasure is, and they got to go through this thing. And then there's a dangerous shallow reef area. And then, God damn it, a fucking storm hits him. And the storm is super hard. And she's like, "Just keep pushing through. Just keep going straight. I swear to God, we're almost there. We're almost there." Like Tattoo Man at one point is just like, "Yo, the crew is getting pissed off, and this is getting super dangerous." And she just convinces him. He has enough time to just attempt to try and reason with the guys, and they were like, "Sorry, fool, mutiny." They don't even give him the option. Like, "You were in this room, mutiny on you, fool."
Right.
They drop them off. They barely survive. But here's the thing. Pirate Uncle, Frank Langella, doesn't know about any of this mutiny stuff. So when he hooks up, because he's like, "Fuck that. We're not going through shallow ass reef, man. We're just going to take the long route. We'll catch up with them in the morning. Okay. Because goddamn, I'm a professional pirate and I do that." All right.
Yeah.
That's when a new truce is made between Mutiny Pirate and Uncle
Yes.
Pirate.
Uncle Pirate and Mutiny Guy. So there was a math problem here where
it was a lot of nothing, because the ship still went through the fucking reef. They still
yeah.
survived the storm. They
Well,
still
actually,
got to
too,
the cove.
you know what an easier time to mutiny is? After the storm.
After the
What are
storm,
you
sure.
going to a change in management is not going to solve the storm at that juncture. Do you know what I mean? It's like the storm doesn't stay in one spot and it won't expire any faster if you elect a new captain. That's not how storms work, and I'm sure they know that too. I guess that maybe they're just so pissed. They're like, "We're doing this now. Oh, we don't trust you." But still, it's like, again, a lot easier when people aren't flying overboard and there's a bunch of white water around. So the boat math problem is that when Frank Langella, not Christopher Lee, shows up at the island, then the British also show up with the island.
Because they teamed up earlier just because the governor really, really, really hates Matthew Modine. Then Geena Davis actually blew up part of the Jamaican harbor.
That's what it was.
Trying to buy the slave for $40. By the way, her wanted poster made her look like Carmen Sandiego.
Yes, it's like that looks nothing like her. It's just the illiterate asshole. Like, hey, look at that! It looks like Geena. And they're like, okay. And so they go on this chase where like they pull the old counterweight switcheroo up a building, and then they crash through some scaffolding, and then we're on to the chase where they're in the captain's or whatever the Lord's carriage is going away. And one of my favorite parts is that she's on top of the carriage and people keep jumping on, and she just catches some damage in the face a few times. But she's on top and they go through a low overhang, and she jumps up off the carriage, runs across the roof, and then full Ferris Bueller's her way through a whorehouse and then jumps back down onto it. That was a fun scene.
So here's the BTS on that shit.
Yeah.
So this is per the IMDb, so take it with a grain of salt, but it says that stunt got flubbed. So this is a Renny Harlin movie, and he encourages everyone to do their own stunts. And by the way, he's dating Geena Davis at the time, so she's all the way on board with this. He's treating her as an equal. He's like, of course you can do this. Don't worry about it. They do the stunt, and she rolls off the ledge and rolls off too early and apparently goes under the carriage.
Oh, no.
Now, my notes here say that she went on multiple talk shows, plugging the movie, showing the footage of her going under the carriage. Obviously, she's fine.
Right.
They had to stitch it together. They took that footage. They didn't do a retake for whatever. And then they painted her in on a separate take. And you have to be looking for it. Otherwise, it's unnoticeable, but it's there.
Because that's a real carriage with real horses, and that is really dangerous to fall under the hooves and or wheels. That's not good.
Lucky she didn't get injured. Lucky there was no time taken away from the production. This was a cursed production from like all the way in, FYI. We'll get more into that later here. But
for sure.
So we get an exciting action number. It's a super entertaining scene, all of it. Okay, like again, people are punching Geena Davis. She's kicking dudes in the face.
Let's get to the pyrotechnics of that same sequence. So they've just escaped. This chase was initiated. They're speeding along the sort of the waterfront. How did the ship know to fire at the colonel's carriage? What the hell is that? They don't have walkie-talkie? Like what?
I want to say someone is watching on the binocular, and they saw all this shit go down. However, Matt Modine does call it out and it's like, I'm getting shot at by a fucking ship. I cannot believe this. It
incredible. Looked cool. Yeah. Again, all of the sets and the art dressing are gorgeous. Like they took a lot of time to make it look legit. Like so many of the things don't feel hollow or chintzy. It's like they look like they're in old Barbados. They're in a crazy pirate cave. Like it looks legit. Like so many of these, I mean, when they're swinging out on ropes across things, you're like, well, he's actually doing that shit. Yep. So I will give it that, but yeah.
So we're talking about the big action piece. By the way, this is precipitated by Geena Davis needs to buy Matthew Modine because he has been arrested for swindling ladies at the debutante's ball.
Is that why the colonel, the Lord guy, hates him? Is that the only reason?
Yes, you just that's it. That's it. There's nothing
Really?
else.
Yeah, I thought there'd be like
Matthew Modine robbed a bunch of his lady friends, and he's just like, yeah, fuck that guy.
If he had slept with his daughter or something, like something, I don't know, or stolen something.
He's a fugitive.
That guy's, but it's just sort of like petty theft and whatever. And he's like burning hatred for this guy. It just doesn't connect. It's just yeah.
He didn't sleep with his wife or anything. He didn't rob his lady heart. True. He he stole a comb, stole a necklace. And then told everyone he was a doctor. He's apparently not a doctor, but still did surgery at some point.
He did surgery pretty well, I have to say.
That was impressive.
In another way too long scene where they're just holding on it, where the actors are basically like sitting still, and Geena Davis is saying "ow" in an unconvincing fashion.
Oh yeah, cussing at him too. Like it's, and then the makeout scene. It's very pointless. There's no chemistry between them, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it's again, it's a big empty calorie. It's time that could have been taken away. Again, you pointed out at the top of the show, Kai. This is 2 hours. What would have been acceptable? You said an hour, but would an hour 40 have been more acceptable? 90 minutes even.
For sure. If you turn in an 88-minute project on this, I would probably be going like, that moved better. Okay. Yeah, almost every it's like they wanted to they spent so much time on sort of the sets and location, they wanted to let it breathe, baby. Mm-hmm. So it's just you get 20 extra seconds in every scene of just like the sea, look at the clouds, look at that. And the music again is just drilling you. It's drilling you in the ear like like, oh, stop.
Like time moves very abstract in this film, as I mentioned earlier. So after the big melee at the Jamaican harbor, they then travel to their next destination, which is to talk to Pirate Uncle number 2 and get his piece of the map. And she dresses up like a whore. We talked about that. There's some standoff, like
wait, the bodyguards feel her up before she goes in.
The bodyguards feel her up because they have to do that, and she's like, "That'll cost you extra, honey." Ugh. At one point, again, another melee breaks out. It's every man from the South. Everyone's fighting. At some point, Matthew McConaughey says, "Hey, you mind if I get the keys to these handcuffs?" Forgetting that slavery is wrong, folks, but he was not legally purchased. Okay, right. There was no transfer of deed. No, let's get those cuffs for you, son.
Also, I mean, I love that they've put out in this movie that our hero won a slave auction as a main plot point. That was something
she technically didn't win it. She was going to, but no title change.
She was rigging it. And then also we get to that melee, which is one of many clumsy long sword fights, which is just like, oh my god. However, you skipped one thing in the movie that sticks out in my mind and I'll never be able to forget, which is the grossest thing I think I've seen in any movie we've reviewed, which is that she pulls her father's scalp out of her panties. She had her father's scalp stuffed into the front of her undies, everybody.
Of her pantaloons. Oh my.
Yes. I mean, and the camera's like flat angled right at it, lifts it up. You see the belt buckle. She's going behind it and just pulls the scalp out. This is something you would get arrested for now. That is
some Armie Hammer shit.
It's the grossest fucking thing. Oh my god!
Wow. This movie goes hard, and it's weird that it's only like a PG-13. Like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of. When they're in cities and stuff, they're showing like rotting dead bodies and bodies left hanging, and there's a lot of horses. So I imagine everything must smell great, as the 18th and 19th century did. But
you can bet it does not.
Yeah, I was freaked out when she met the uncle because I thought it was like that's her dad, right? And then I didn't make the connection, and I was like, he looks like your dad, and he speaks like Hagrid. Yeah. You're a pirate, Geena.
When we meet Pirate Uncle for the second time, he has his second Darth Vader entrance. But as he's monologuing, Matt McConaughey pulls the gunpowder out of the bartender, who's just still pouring drinks as if nothing's happening. He's just like,
I know.
I'm just gonna top
was that a
myself
bartender?
off.
I thought that was just guy going like, oh, he's talking. I can get a drink now. Hold on.
If he is, he's gone behind the bar then. And in that case, I don't feel sorry for when he gets blown up.
And this is precipitated by the Caribbean world's scorpion. There's a guy, get over here, Geena Davis. She gets full like chain roped. But that would also be his undoing later.
That guy surprisingly doesn't get more scenes. Like, he's missing for like an hour of the movie. Okay, he's only in those key fight scenes where he does his scorpion maneuver.
I wanted them to get more medieval and weird with the body attachments. Do you know what I mean? That would have been great.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, we only saw one peg leg, and that was Pirate Dad. One non-playable character has an eye patch.
Yeah. I thought we get more eye patches. They did throw it in. You know, sometimes because the dialogue was lacking, because they were only talking about one plot line about finding the map, just looking at everyone in the background was more interesting. There's more action going on and being told back there, because there are hundreds of extras in this movie. There are just people everywhere in this motherfucker, which had to be expensive as shit.
We're going to get into the cost of this movie in a little bit. More dialogue. There's shit blowing up still in that whorehouse. Geena Davis and Ethan Hawke are running down the hall, and it's a slow-mo thing. Again, more shit is blowing up, but they're having a full-on dialogue. Like, so where's that map, Ethan Hawke? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Weird. Yeah, time scale is an issue. I mean, just before they started running, I almost said Christopher Lee. Frank Langella does a super baller thing, which he threatens his niece with an eel. Is
that what that is? I was trying to figure that out. I was like, is that
I think they're supposed to be moray eels, but they were
a lamprey? What is that?
Yeah, but this is my favorite line in the movie. He says like, pain, mutilation, destruction, all the good things in life. Thank you, Vader. Awesome.
That's my family credo, he said. It's on his crest.
Yeah. And the safest place to keep your part of the map is at the bottom of that live eel bucket. I can't fault that man's logic. You don't want to be sticking your arm in there too long.
My favorite Frank Langella moment is at the end during the biggest pirate scenes. And he is just reveling. Shit is blowing up around him. His ship is on fire. The other ship's on fire too. But he's just like, I love this. I love this. Like, he is taking pride.
Yeah, he's a full like wrestler entrance yell and like double arm flex to the Lord. You know, like he just looks up into the heavens.
He truly loves this more than you love your wife or your child, more than the best day that you've ever had at work. Like, I wish the kid at Starbucks had my man's enthusiasm. Like, lattes! Yeah!
Oh my God! Those clouds are fucking awesome!
Going back to some more pirate gangsterisms, Pirate Uncle shoots Geena Davis with a ball bearing, and we do get to the surgery scene. However, she's fine after that. Like, she should not be able to be flexible. Like, I wish Pirate Uncle had punched her in the kidney a couple times during their fight at the end. Like, sell that injury. That still exists, you know.
That's fresh, or maybe not. I don't know. They don't show the part where it took 2 years to get to that spot, because it looks. You must have looked this up where they shot this, because I'm like, Thailand. Oh no, we're near Jamaica, and it's like, well, that looks like the South China Sea right there. I don't know what's going on here.
They're in Phuket, Thailand.
Oh, I guessed it just from the rock formations. There we go. There's so many of the thing that gets them there is this decoding the map. And one of them is realizing that it's not in Latin, it's just written backwards. And it's like, great job, Sherlock. She pokes Matthew Modine in the penis with a knife, and the reflection is what gives it away. We couldn't figure out the backwards writing. It was that big, huh? And then
she's drunk half the movie, to be fair. Okay, like, she, you know, solving mysteries isn't her strong suit. She's in a pirate ship.
This is true.
Not solving riddles.
Probably not a formal education. You know what I mean?
No Bazooka Joe comics where she's from, Kai.
Yeah. And and also too, I didn't understand where she's looking at the palm reading, and she realizes, oh, it's the numbers. Like, what?
There's a lot of leaps to logic in this one.
What? Anyway, sorry, when she got shot, when they're escaping the brothel, I loved that they're the people, I think they're rescuing her. Those are her people that are starting to shoot the outside of the thing. I can't tell. A lot of times there's a melee and I'm like, I don't know who's involved exactly. But the people outside are lighting it up with those Mulan blasters. You know what I mean? It's like a full like waist cannon kind of a thing. I'm like, yes, Mulan blasters. That was good times.
We have some surgery. Matthew McConaughey. God damn it! I'm really not doing this on purpose. I swear to Christ, here. Okay.
I'm gonna switch back to Christopher Lee a few times too. Don't worry about it.
Matthew Modine is under arrest again. This time in pirate quarters. Geena Davis's pirate quarters, and then they go into the storm. He escapes his bondage and jumps into the ocean after her once they have been mutinied.
But they don't go back for him.
They can't hear him.
Yeah,
they're already so far ahead. Like, just no, they definitely can't hear him.
Yeah. Oh, also during the storm, the confusing plot point at the time that they do pay off is Fatty releases a pigeon into the skies, and you don't know why, but they're pumping the dramatic music so fucking hard.
Yeah, that's less believable than Geena Davis running around with a gunshot wound.
Yeah, that was
with her 16th century gunshot wound.
Modine solved like the third to last piece of the puzzle when he looks at the initials and then there's a book there and he goes like, oh, it's numbers. It's so convenient. You're like, oh my God, this is,
yeah, another leap to logic, just looking at Roman numerals. He's like,
like this is angels and demons level like puzzle cues. It's like if you add up all the names of the apostles into the letters, you're like, oh come on, please stop. it's just so lame.
There's being a pirate is apparently super fucking complicated. I was just promised rape and rum. Okay.
Yes. Where did we get? We had a little bit of rum.
You got me fucking creating riddles over here. Fuck you. All right. Where's the shop steward?
In the last, I don't know, that whole era of the 90s and into Pirates of the Caribbean, like pirates like barely kill. They don't rape or pillage much. They're just, what are you doing? Oh, God.
So Matthew Modine survives the storm and he sneaks onto Pirate Uncle's ship and steals his part of the map. That's what I was there.
They had made a camp on shore. The scene before, he says, pick a spot for a camp. So they were land-based at that point.
Yes.
That's how Modine is able to run away. However, he gets trapped in a movie trope.
He gets trapped in quicksand. However,
yes, a movie trope. He falls into a movie trope.
For some reason, stopped chasing him.
It's super important, but they just sort of give up. Oh, I forgot to mention, that storm scene has the music goes to the opening of the Ark of the Covenant level of just intensity. Mm-hmm. And then we die back down. So anyway, they get the map together and they're easily able to solve it. However, we're punished with what has to be 15 minutes of just jungle landscapes, pointing from behind the characters and then walking with this soundtrack.
At one point, the rope is only so long, and then the rope is much longer.
There's no.
It could just have been a weird camera angle. I don't know. There's a lot of again, being a pirate is complicated. Like you couldn't just bury this shit in the sand. You had to I can't imagine the assembly line that went into getting that pirate treasure off the original ship, through all that jungle, down that fucking cliff, into that cave that is still not on ground level, and then
kill a bunch of the guys there. And then leave it uncovered except with skulls. God, yeah.
I honestly, I did like this movie, folks. I can't speak for Kai, but I honestly did like this. It doesn't sound like I'm liking it right now, but there's like when you're in it and you're just like, all right.
Hey, listen, I just saw it. Maybe, I'll keep thinking about it. I don't know, but just coming off it was like, wow, a lot of filler. That's all I could focus on. Anyhoozle, you just detailed they find the treasure because, of course, they had solved the basic clues and kept walking forward. So they got it. They get sent off on the little ship after the mutiny. It crashes in the storm. Mm-hmm. And then the most curious thing, like, again, another movie trope where they're clinging to wreckage, like clinging to it, not like lying on top of it. Mm-hmm. And they all wake up at the same time. at noon. The sun is, if you look at the shadows, sun is directly overhead. Nobody woke up early, like, and they all wake up same time, and you're like, oh God.
Yeah. Again, nobody woke up crispy, and I mean, I would like to suspend disbelief, folks, but Geena Davis is a 6-foot redhead from Massachusetts. Okay, our bitch is burnt.
Yeah,
burnt bad.
There are some toasty folks
Or
out on
should
that
be.
wreckage.
She should be.
They get to the island, which means they can find the treasure easily. And the cave,
and then people are
impressive.
captured again. And then people are captured again. And then another ship is sent out, and then another ship is captured.
Oh, wait. Hold on. A thing that, again, I have a question for you here.
Please.
So other than Modine, so when Frank Langella finds them coming out of the cave, and Matthew Modine is dangling off the side of the cliff, and he performs a superhuman feat that would have broken both of their arms. He
catches her. Yes.
Frank Langella pushes Geena Davis off the cliff. Matthew Modine catches her with one hand while the other hand is holding a rope. And you'd be like, oh, yeah, there'd be arms out of sockets. You'd be tumbling towards the rocks. But then once he catches her, he says, oh, good. We have them both now. Pull them up. And it's like, why did you just push her? Like, you could have just pulled homeboy up. What was the logic here? So then they just jump. That didn't make any sense to me there.
I should have taken better notes, folks. I'm sorry. There's a couple times earlier in the movie, even if I could remember it, we're not going back towards it. But no, there's literally dialogue that contradicts itself within a minute of itself. So yeah,
this is also fits into another category of movie that some people are into this, but just like the movie The Crow, it's a movie that you can talk all the way through, not miss a thing.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's about right.
Yeah. Then there's another bizarre time shift, because much like when they wake up in the middle of the day and you're like, whoa, what happened on the wreckage? Then Modine wakes up just in a tide pool. Fatty wakes him up in a tide pool, and it's like, how much time has passed?
They're somehow split up because they both went into the drink at the same time, but they somehow got split up. Matthew Modine gets waken up by book author Fatty, and he's like, yo, I'm going to take you to Geena Davis. And then he double crosses him and takes him to Frank Langella, Pirate Uncle. But I forget where Geena Davis is at this point. And my window of this is 3 hours. Like, I saw this just as 4 hours ago.
It's confusing. And then, and here's the question though, because the Lord Commandant guy is there, the British have a ship that has arrived there. Frank Langella has a ship that has arrived there.
That's 2 ships.
And the mutiny guy brought that ship there too.
That would be 3 ships, but Geena Davis and her mutinied crew re-mutiny that ship.
Right. And then only 2 ships have a sea battle. Where is the third? Where is the British ship?
That's right, because they take over the British ship. And they're like, smile, Mr. Trotter. And yeah, we're missing a ship.
We're missing a whole ship.
We're missing a whole ship because it only comes down to 2 ships and only 1 ship sinks at the end.
And that's it. The ending is on anyway. Yeah. Where did the ship go?
It must have just been left back at the island then.
I mean, there is a scene where Commandant guy is leaving. No, but isn't he on there when they're fighting?
God
he could have departed. That could be possible.
Does the 3rd ship get blown up in the battle? No,
they broadside each other and just trade blows.
Because Fat Author and the governor, who you keep talking about, they're on Pirate Uncle's ship, and they actually get blown up with molten lava. It's not just like a regular a barrel explodes. It's like a lava volcano erupted right under them. It's
for sure.
Wild shit.
Yeah. Anyway. This movie goes out of its way to be confusing, which breaks one of my main rules that you should not do. But yeah, she mutinies the ship, but then Modine is about to be hung from a mast.
That's right. And, we haven't had a hanging at sea before. That'd be quite entertaining. Yes.
Yeah, and then Face Tat pulls off a crack shot from like 200 yards.
So the whole scene of that is setting up for Geena Davis to take that shot. And even as it's building up, I'm just like, I'm not good at like ballistics and all that, but that shot ain't happening. I don't care who you are.
Right.
And then for a second there, she's just like, he's bluffing. And like, she's going to sacrifice Matt Modine. And for face tat, he supersedes her authority and just shoots the guy. And then black guy taps him on the shoulder like, you did a great thing, man. Like, that was what we should have done. He's one of us. Okay. Like, he got us through this. And
What's
she's not mad about it. Because that seems wildly out of character for her.
Yeah. If what's his name? Trucker could have taken that shot. That would have been something. Trotter. If Trotter took that shot, that'd be something.
That would have led to his face turn 30 minutes later. But
throw us a hint, everybody. Yeah. But yeah, that shot leads to a lot of rope swinging and clumsy sword fighting after the mutineers.
I will say, once we get to the pirate battle at the end, I love the pirate battle until we get to the one-on-one with Frank Langella and Geena Davis, like climbing up the masts, and I was like, just do this on the deck, guys. Just do this. No.
They build the clumsy fighting to a height where they're just sort of wobbling around, and the swords are like, I'm waving my arm in the air.
Well, he pushes her off again, and she somehow survives like a 3-story fall through the hole in the original.
Into the hold. Yep. But luckily there's some padding down there, and she's that's where Matthew Modine was trapped.
Well, he's trapped below that deck.
Yeah. And so can I ask you something? What was his plan as one person on a burning ship to try and get some treasure? Like, what was he trying to do?
He's going to try and pocket some treasure. And then
I guess just pocket it because it's like, homeboy, this isn't really going to work out here. Like, you just want to get a handful or something? Or are you trying to carry a box away?
I mean, he was able to carry that one chest. Like, remember, even where the treasure is eventually buried, there's still like another 6-foot deep moat they got across. And still managed to get a chest that per him had 4 million pounds in currency I was guessing that he was only talking about that one box alone. He still got that through the moat and then tied it to the rope. And then
had drive. That's true. I mean, at least they set that up where it's like, well, he is obsessed with it. And that, again, another scene that went on too long was them admiring treasure. It was like, let's go with this.
I think that's the beauty shot. I think that's the one thing that could hang on.
But when she's picking it up and dropping it, you're like, it's so obviously plastic. Like, it just it does not look good under those lights. That was bad.
You know what's going to be hilarious is when you do see like pirate treasure in real life someday, Kai, you're just like, it fucking looks plastic, Kush. I couldn't believe it, dude. It was weird.
Plastic? What are you talking about? Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, there is a great scene during the pirate battle where Baldy Face Tat, he gets his arm broken in the steering wheel.
That scene was hard, dude.
That was rough. But that's when Trotter comes to the rescue there. He was
Trotter comes to the rescue after saving Francis from Malcolm in the Middle, who I guess is supposed to be just the young boy during the whole thing.
Yeah. He's the midship deckman. Yeah.
And I guess that's Face Tat's boy. And anyways, he crushes that dude's skull back in the shipping column.
Chain guy gets his chain wrapped around an anchor. He goes down to Davy Jones' locker.
That's a great climax for a character that was underdeveloped.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more out of him. And Frank Langella also, you saw it briefly before, but you really get to see his sword, which looks
the sword is fresh, dude.
The sword, do you remember in Willow, the guy with the skull mask? He had, this is the saber version of that sword. Like, that's a sister sword to this one. And we get a Darth Vader moment before she gets pushed off the mask when he's like, join me, we'll rule the seas.
That's fun.
That was good.
The pirate battle is really the best part of the whole movie. Again, like, Geena Davis is doing flips and her dagger splits into 3 things, which is apparently a real weapon. Like, she's doing real life pirate shit on this. And I'm just like, okay, like, I wish this was the rest of the movie. But this...
I want you know, one thing I've been wanting to look up too was there was a scene when they were readying the cannons and the guy had some real specific, like, he had some real specific hand signals. And then the guys were like holding their hands up and hold. And I'm like, I bet that's accurate. I bet they looked that shit up.
There's, I have apparently some real pirate lore in my IMDb notes here, which we'll get to in a second.
Oh, fantastic.
But speaking of cannons, Uncle Pirate Frank Langella is finally awayed with a cannon shot at close range to the chest. And it's a nice scene that is immediately ruined with terrible dialogue. It's parallel to that scene in the first X-Men movie where Storm gets tossed down an elevator shaft.
Oh yeah.
And then she is so pissed off that she levitates and glass is breaking and lightning, and then she has to open her mouth. She couldn't just electrocute Toad there.
Just
she
let
has
that
to
happen. Let that
like,
breathe.
Like, you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?
God,
the same thing that happens to everything else.
I forgot about that. That's like so cringy.
Bad dog.
Oh god.
Bad dog.
Oh, and yeah, Langella is Looney Tunes style blown through 3 walls out the back of the ship. God.
I am disappointed there wasn't an end credit scene akin to Skeletor and Masters of the Universe with "I'll be back," because I want more Langella in this.
Yeah, Langella was the best part. So she saves Modine with the underwater air kiss. Again, more piratey tropes, but
there's weird physics in this that defy even Fast and the Furious physics, where like she just she just like wiggles a board and that unhinges something, but it pushes the weight off of Matt Modine, who can then be unpinned. It didn't make any sense to me, Kai. I'm telling you.
They wait to jump off the burning boat where the powder magazine is about to explode.
Again, this woman just got shot in the stomach 24 hours ago. She
just jumped like 4 stories off a mast onto nothing.
Yeah.
And now the mutineers on the other boat are like, no, jump. Like, why wouldn't she jump? She's immune to fall damage, apparently.
She's at least jumping in the water on this one, too. Like,
God damn it.
She survived every waterfall she's had to this point.
Perfect swan dives, too. Both of them.
Amazing swan dive.
I
have to imagine those were actual stunt performers and not Geena Davis and Matt Modine.
Beautiful form. And they hit the water, head in, good tuck, little splash. I mean, it was gorgeous. But they do that right as it explodes. And luckily, she attached a barrel to it as a marker. So that all worked out.
And then they had a good amount of gold. And she was like, we're going to divvy this up. My successful pirate crew. Was it me, or did it feel like Mutiny Pirate was in there as well? Or is that just another dude who kind of looked like him?
There were a lot of people.
There's a lot of people. Fair enough.
Could have been in there too.
Fair enough. No, she's like, who wants to just take this and go home and drink some tea on the porch? Or who wants to do some more pirate shit and get some more motherfucking treasure?
Several people said no. They're like, we don't want to do that. And then somebody says, how about a hand for the captain? And they all start clapping. But they didn't say yes, technically.
Yeah, again, so a couple people were like, yeah, I don't know. And Black Guy's like, I need a minute to think about this, dude. Like, you literally gave us just these 2 choices a minute ago. I need longer. And then Face Tack Guy's like, I was thinking about doing a farm. And she's like, a farm? And then everybody starts laughing. And I was like, that seems like actually a reasonable dream,
Yeah,
like,
we almost died like 7 times in the last either 2 weeks or year. I don't know how long it's been, but and again, you could argue that they didn't go to Madagascar with her, which seems insane at the time, because they didn't say, yay, we'll go. They're just saying, let's hear it for the captain who got us the treasure. And now we're all leaving.
We're going to Madagascar.
We forgot to mention through this whole thing, she had a fun monkey mascot with her.
Oh yeah, Captain something or other.
Yeah, he had one of the better actors in this movie. And then during that closing sequence, they gave the monkey a knife, which seems ill-advised.
Did they? Good for them.
I
approve of giving a monkey a knife.
Giving a monkey a knife.
I wish. My God. Oh, geez, he should have been involved in the melee. That would have been way better.
That would have been better. They didn't include him at all. And then I think that's it. Like it's near the closing shot, and it's sort of like a metaphor for this movie. It was like giving this much money to this director in this project. It's like, what if we gave a monkey a knife and just let him loose and see what happened? Cutthroat Island.
So this was Cutthroat Island. Renny Harlin was the director. What do you think of Renny Harlin? Because this is the guy who did like A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Cliffhanger. Like, this guy is competent with action. Like, he makes a fun action movie. I would say this is fun action in it.
I liked Cliffhanger because when John Lithgow is like chewing the scenery as a bad guy, it's like,
Okay.
that was amazing.
Okay. Maybe Renny Harlin just knows how to like make his villains like just leap off the page. Like,
And then, you know, even without a villain too, I liked what was that? The other Stallone one where he's Driven.
Driven. I only saw Driven once. I remember it being remember it being a competent racing movie.
Yeah, and, I mean, there were parts that were silly and like over the
For
top, but
sure.
it
The thing with the
worked.
quarter. Oh boy.
Yeah, they're taking it like he's taking it too seriously, but in this context, it's like fine, that's great.
Renny Harlin spent $1 million of his own money to get the script and rewrites.
Yeah.
So the script was flawed from the beginning. There was so much problems with this production that him and Geena Davis did try to quit this. Again, these are notes per the IMDb, so take it all with a grain of salt. But they apparently tried to leave the project, and Carol Coe, these are the folks who do Terminator, Terminator 2, Total Recall. They're like, no, you're going to do the movie we contracted and paid you for. So do the fucking movie.
Wow.
Carol Coe would go into bankruptcy 6 weeks before this movie's release.
Oh
We'll
shit.
get into a little bit more of that. Renny Harlin fired the chief camera operator after a dispute, and more than 24 members quit.
Wow.
This movie actually has its roots traced back to 1986, when a similar movie about a female pirate called Bloody Bess was in production. It didn't go anywhere, but it was always something that Renny Harlin remembered, and he was like, this is something I can do with my future girlfriend and future wife, Geena Davis. Geena Davis was just coming off of trying to do a movie with Michelle Pfeiffer called Mistresses of the Sea. It would have been a Paul Verhoeven project, and it
Okay.
unfortunately didn't go anywhere. They were
Oh,
trying to get Harrison Ford to
you
be
got my
the male
attention
lead.
there. Oh man.
Yeah, but they couldn't sign Harrison Ford. To be fair, this is 1993, so Harrison might have been a little too old to be doing the swashbuckling at this point, you know.
For sure. Didn't he do a island adventure sort of a thing where
Yes,
he
but
gets
with
No, he crashes a plane or something?
with girl Anne Heche.
Yeah. Anne Heche.
It
Sad
didn't do very
foreshadowing
well.
with the plane crashing there.
Oof, Kai.
Wait, let me just circle back for just a second.
Please.
Other than Cliffhanger, love Cliffhanger, but I mean, we're missing the other ones that I love out of his canon, which was Long Kiss Goodnight, another Geena Davis, and Samuel L. Jackson. Amazing performance in that one.
Now that'll be the
really
next
fun.
movie they do, and it is actually far more superior. I believe Geena Davis as a super assassin who has lost her memory and is just tracing all this shit in a very highly realistic mystery.
That was fucking great. And then Samuel Jackson's in that one. He also pops up in Deep Blue fucking Sea, which was great.
That's a classic.
Camp, delightful. And then also on this list, which deserves a mention, is Die Hard 2. Kush, I mean, Renny Harlin might be one of my favorite directors. I didn't even really put it together.
Shit done, dude. Like, he is a competent director, and this is one of those things where it's like, what went wrong here? Let me tell you what went wrong, Kai. So at any time, they were filming 3 cameras at the same time. And this isn't digital age. This is reel-to-reel film. So they're filming yards of material per day. And they're burning up film and money that way. They're also, for some reason, on a V8 kick, again, per my notes, to the point where once production ended, there was still a whole room just filled with V8. That was promptly distributed amongst cast and probably locals and anyone who went like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? This is V8. This is 1995 and V8. Yuck. Who the hell's drinking this? In a radio interview, Renny Harlin says that Carol Coe was already in ruin before the film and that MGM was in process of being sold. Therefore, the movie was having its problems there. Carol Coe, they were trying to do another action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called Crusade. It would go nowhere past pre-production. But they were also getting ready to release Showgirls at the same time as this movie. Which
fantastic.
Also, despite being a cult fascination, would be a financial and critical bomb.
Oh man. Oh
Thus
God.
sinking the nail into Carol Co.
Oh
Let's
boy.
see.
Wow,
Frank
and
Langella
MGM.
considers this one of his 3 favorite films, including the aforementioned Masters of the Universe and Frost Nixon, which now I would really like to see because Frank Langella is amazing in this, and I cannot stress that enough.
I'm gonna go watch Frost Nixon. Hell yeah. That never even occurred to me to watch because I'm like, I'm good on that one. But I mean, yeah, Langella bringing the high heat.
I keep talking about tonight. I keep mixing him up with Ethan Hawke and Matthew McConaughey, who, to be fair, would definitely not have been in this movie because his first movie, Dazed and Confused, is also coming out at this time, so he would not be in contention to be a lead man with Geena Davis. But Kai, who would you think would have been better in Matthew Modine's role? Again, no disrespect to Modine, he's just not right in this
He's
role.
fine.
He's good, but
I would.
this would have been better.
I said it at the top. Cary Elwes.
Cary Elwes. Okay. Let me see here. So, guys, and reportedly turned down the role: Tom Cruise,
Of course.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay, so
Keanu-
they're going for a bigger. You said Harrison Ford too, so they're just going the top shelf here.
Keanu Reeves, Liam Neeson,
Oh man.
Jeff Bridges.
Oh wow. Whoa, that would have been weird.
Ray finds Liam Neeson's doppelganger. Charlie Sheen, which would have been wild.
That okay. No, that needed to have happened. If Charlie Sheen was in this fucking movie,
he probably could have pulled it off. Give him a little a base tan. He would have been good. Carlos would have made it happen. I think
for sure. It would have been that part would have been more watchable. I mean, Modine's likable, but Sheen can bring that. I mean, that crazy Coke smile in and just light up a room.
And it's probably fair to say that Modine's character was doing some cocaine in those days.
For sure.
Yeah. Russell Crowe, Tim Robbins, Gabriel Byrne, and Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Russell Crowe did get his boat movie, and I'm sad they didn't make another Master and Commander because that was really good.
Due to casting distractions, Kai, Renny Harlin didn't really pay attention to any of the sets and production design. And when he finally did, he didn't like any of it.
He didn't like any of the production design?
It all had to be redesigned and rebuilt in a rather short time frame, and then the script had to be rewritten to accommodate those changes, and both had a lot to do with driving up the film's budget on top of a V8.
How much was the budget?
$98 million.
Oh my God.
I should have asked you to guess on that one. I apologize. I should have said guess. Adjust
for 95. I think I would have. I mean, I think I would have like ballparked it at like 70 million, which would have been a lot for back then.
Renny Harlin and Geena Davis got married on the set of this movie.
Oh my God.
They consider this their honeymoon.
In Thailand.
Matt Modine was cast mostly because he's an experienced fencer. He's good at it, but I don't blame him. I think you could have also, I think this is the Armageddon thing. Like, why didn't you just train astronauts how to drill into the moon? It would have been probably easier that way.
Yeah.
Let's see. We already talked about Geena Davis as she fell out of the window just a little too soon. I actually have 2 notes on this, so I feel like that's legit. Still could not find anything. I found footage of Geena Davis plugging Thelma and Louise on Arsenio Hall. Can't find anything on this fucking stunt that went wrong. Let's see. Pirate lore. Morgan Adams' flag, known as the Calico, was actually flown by Calico Jack Rackham. Excuse me. It's one of the only Caribbean pirates to have women on his crew. And then once he retired, turned the ship over to them.
Oh,
that would have actually been a nice footnote to have in this thing.
Yeah.
Let's
just
see.
Like the Dread Pirate Roberts. He just turned it
like
over.
The Dread Pirate Roberts. As I said, the film cost $98 million to produce.
Jesus Christ.
Kai, how much do you think it made in its total? Well, how much do you think it made opening weekend? And then I'll get into gross figures.
Opening weekend. I'm going to guess $3 million.
As very close, actually, Kai. It's over, babe. It's $2.3 million. It's opening
Okie
weekend.
doke.
Yeah, man. Now, details. I would like to say details are a little scarce at this point. However, details are scarce on Cutthroat Island. So, Cutthroat Island is reported to have made a worldwide total of $10 million.
Oh.
$10,017,322 is the note I got off of Box Office Mojo.
That is a withering differential, Kush.
Again, per the IMDb, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, this film is the biggest financial loss ever. I have to believe something else has taken that place since, but this is 1995, Kai. This would come out Christmas 95. The rest of its global releases would happen in 1996. I have no figures on any of that, unfortunately, which is weird. I did $1 Million Baby on Sweet Science Cinema with Jameel Hemphill recently. $1 Million Baby also came out like the last weekend of 1995, 1996 or whatever, but it also has this whole other stat for 1996 or 1997 because that's where it made its bulk money because of all its Oscar buzz it would receive. Cutthroat Island has none of that. However, it would be surpassed by a different box office punchline, whereas Waterworld came out that same year. In fact, it came out 6 months earlier.
There you go. There you go.
Waterworld cost $175 million to make and would somehow, again, be a box office punchline, yet it would make a worldwide gross of $264 million. Still not a profit when you consider marketing and all that other bullshit.
That's a much better end to end there. And again, Kush, I'm telling you, yeah, water shit's expensive. I want my Waterworld the series. Okay? Give it to me.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Out of 200 recorded movies, which is a very weird specific round number, 200 movies in 1995, Cutthroat Island would come in at 110.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, just in box office?
Yes.
Oh. Man, what else is on that list? Jesus.
Well, since you asked, Waterworld would come in at number 12.
Hey.
And then top 5 movies of that year, going 5 to 1. Ace Ventura 1.
Of course.
Disney's Pocahontas. Batman Forever.
Yeah.
The 13th Apollo. Apollo 13. And then the original Toy Story.
Fantastic. What a good year for movies.
It's not a bad year for movies. Like, we poked a lot of holes in this where you could strain spaghetti through, but again, if this was a shorter movie, I would love this. Having said that, I didn't hate it. If you would like to see Geena Davis trying to be an action star, I would absolutely say check it out. But The Long Kiss Goodnight is much superior.
It's delightful. I like that movie.
So unfortunately, that because of this movie, that movie suffered. Like that's not a bad movie. It was culturally, it was critically well received. I don't think it did terrible at the box office, but it was definitely affected because people were just like, why would I? What Cutthroat Island? Ha.
Geena Davis does good actiony stuff in there. Samuel Jackson is great, and also great appearance by Brian Cox. Who plays like the director of the whatever spy agency. He
plays the role he will later play in the Bourne Ultimatum or the Bourne Identity.
Exactly. This is he was cutting his Bourne chops in that one, but all good. Yeah.
Would you recommend this movie, Kai?
Listen, if you've got a hankering for some piratey stuff and you want to make a lot of comments during a movie or just talk to somebody, you know what I mean? Then by all means, check this out.
I think also question. I think the original Pirates of the Caribbean, the Gore Verbinski movie, is much better than this. Yeah. But I think that this movie is better than the next 2 through 5 chapters they did. Would you disagree with that, or?
Oh no, that's right on par. That's right on par. If you're looking like for one pirate movie, yeah, check out that first Pirates of the Caribbean. That's fun. But that they really rewash that formula. Like they use the pirate thing and then they just throw it, they wash it out, then they put it back, they tuck it back on, and it's the same deal. So if you're hankering for pirate stuff, first Pirates of the Caribbean, then yeah, check out some Cutthroat Island. for
I
sure.
would say even if you're into your female action movies, I would say Michelle Yeoh is doing things way better at this time.
Hell yeah.
And no one is. She's what, a year away from being in the James Bond movie?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years away, even. Cynthia Rothrock is fucking shit up at this point, but on a straight to video level, I would say check those out. Otherwise, where would you say Geena Davis ranks, like compared to a Charlize Theron or
Mila Jovovich.
Sure, she's
I
done
mean,
enough of these to be considered for that. Like, I mean,
yeah,
she's done like 10 of these movies, right?
yeah, I don't care for the plot of most of those movies, but she's doing legit action things in there.
She's doing wire work and all that shit for sure. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Mila Jovovich, Charlize Theron. I swear to God, I'm missing
Well,
two other names.
Angelina Jolie has done some fun
Thank
action
you.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, Angelina Jolie would do Salt, which,
yes,
you know what, is actually a much more better polished version of The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yes. Yeah. They went back at it. Linda Hamilton took a turn for a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Very, very underrated. I'll give you that.
Yeah. And I mean, we could throw Michelle Rodriguez in there.
Yes. But she's... I keep hearing her talk about, I would like to do more stunts. I would like to do more stunts. But the stunts I have seen her do, I'm just like, maybe we don't have you do so many stunts here.
Right. Wait a minute. Back from the Marvel side. Zoe Saldana.
She was in a Pirates movie. She's done some Luc Besson.
Yeah.
Zoe Saldana should be on that list. All right. So all those names, where does Geena Davis fall in? Is she... geez, maybe it's not even a better form question now. I'm sorry.
She deserves to be mentioned in the conversation.
Okay. Yes.
That's where I'm going to land on that one.
What female action film would you recommend? La Femme Nikita? Any one of those?
La Femme Nikita was good. Listen, if you just want action-y things and women, go get yourself a Kill Bill.
Kill Bill? Yeah, that's fair. Kill Bill is pretty great. I would say, fuck it, just go Mad Max Fury Road. It's a lot of green screen driving and desert driving.
That's another movie where there's a lot of A to B, where they're just sort of driving through the desert, but they make it a lot more interesting.
Yes.
There's more style. They stick to it. The world is real, like, for sure. Yeah, start there. Start Mad Max Fury Road. See a Kill Bill. Maybe check out a Wonder Woman. And you're good to go.
I probably wouldn't check out Wonder Woman, but toxic male masculinity. Yeah. Kai, what would you like to recommend before we go out? Plug a podcast.
Oh, for sure. Please go back and check out The Man Who Killed Hitty and Then Bigfoot.
Okay.
That is on the Kush and Kai feed. Check out the BosNet. There's so many fun microdoses, and you've got a lot of cool guests on recently too. I've been digging those, Kush.
We've been really lucky, so hopefully we'll keep that streak going alive. I'm gonna say check out, if this is our July release, I would say check out the cross promotion I do, Sweet Science Cinema 4. We talk Undisputed, Wesley Snipes, Ving Rhames, who is the best prison boxer. You're gonna find out when Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer Jameel Hemphill and Master Len Kabaczynski get together, and the three of us talk.
Hell yeah.
Walter Hill's Undisputed.
Hell yeah. Hey, can I make a request? Because I don't think you've done it, but it's got to be on your slate. Diggstown?
I want to do Diggstown.
Diggstown. I love that movie.
I want to do... So much like when we started Kush and Kai, like, I have a whole list of movies like, I want to do this. And then I was like, well, I need to do this cross promotion thing. So I guess I got to bump a couple of things off.
Taking a detour there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, I love Diggstown. I want to do Diggstown. It was on my first draft, maybe for the season finale.
Fucking making Lou Gossett Jr. fight like 10 people in a row. Like, oh my God.
It's a great movie. It's a great con movie. I'd say it's even better than The Sting. Yes, I said that.
That is good times. Gosh. Kush, it was good to be here.
It's great to be here, Kai. Thank you so much. Thank you for enduring this. I look forward to our next visit.
All right. Rock on, Kush.
Rock on, Kai.
from the BosNet family.
That's gangster